we were in that waiting room, waiting for the truck to get finished. And after we wrapped up our business, she told the guy she was going to pray for him, giving him some encouragement in the Lord. While she was doing that, I am not going to be bested by my wife. No, I'm not. This is just not going to happen, guys. It's just unacceptable. So a guy was sitting over there at the other end, just sitting there, watching but keeping his eyes down. So I knew that he was trying to hide behind the iron curtain of skepticism so that he didn't have to deal with Jesus. And I walked over there with my Jesus card and I handed it to him. He winced and kind of went, looked at the card, put it in his pocket. He wasn't going to say anything because of the nature of what's on that card. He wasn't going to say anything. She wraps up her business and she goes over there. He goes, what he was really doing, even though you see it, was, no! No! Please stay away! And Jesus' messenger came up to him, handed him John 3:16. Have a good day! He walked out. The sweat just pouring down off his face. Oh, but that's better than the sweat that will be pouring down off his face in hell if he rejects Christ and takes his last breath. Amen? I didn't hear that. Amen? One more time. Amen?
Amen.
That's right. And that's what we'd be facing without Jesus Christ. Israel was falling into apostasy. Israel was compromising with the people around them. We tend to do that in the United States of America. Are we losing touch with our roots? Are we losing touch with the Christ that we belong to? You know, in 21st century America, there are issues and challenges. Some of you know these pretty well. Some of you do not. There are issues and challenges that are pressing in on us on every side. If we, as Christians, are active in sharing our faith with the people in the community and people we come into contact with, you know, even though all we need is John 3:16 to deliver the message, you will indeed be faced with challenges that you may not be equipped to deal with. For example, one of the strong challenges increasingly sweeping this country, you do realize, I hope, you are aware, I hope, that the United States of America every year is increasingly becoming less and less Bible-minded, Christ-minded, Christian, and becoming more and more secularized, to where the Pope even recently has formed a committee to deal with the secularization of our communities. We are losing more and more touch with the Bible, and we as Christians, by far and large, don't really know how to deal with that. For example, now this is some of what had happened with Israel back in the time of the Judges. For example, folks, how did we get the Bible we have? How did we get the Bible we have? How was the Bible brought down to us historically? How was it put together into the form that we have it today? You will be, if you share the good news of Jesus in communities, you will be challenged with some issues that we by far and large are unequipped to deal with. What books belong? Just to make it real crystal clear to everyone, this book that I'm holding in my hands, this book that I hope is in every person's lap, called the Bible, the Holy Bible. What we have in this book is everything God intended for all of us to have. Nothing more, nothing less. This book is what God has given us and what God intended for us to have, to use, to learn from, and to share. This is God's holy word. But there are battles trying to take some out, even today, and trying to put others in. How do we know? How do we know? Do we know that much of the background of the Bible and how we got what we have? How many of us, I would ask, have read the preface of the Bible? Some of you are grinning. Preface. The preface of the Bible. To know some of the background of how we got the Bible the way it is. Everything that I'm sharing with you is not technical information that's hard to find. Everything I'm sharing with you is easy to find and easy to understand information. Do you realize, as Israel drifted in their communities, and as they called out to the Lord for help, we have models on how it was done. We have models on how we should effectively reach our families and communities. For example, how did such people as the great reformers of revival in America and England, how did they learn about how it was done to reach their communities, which we don't do anymore? Not on a large scale like we used to. We used to do that, you know. We used to. We don't do that anymore, reaching the people in our neighborhoods and in our communities. We don't do that anymore. Partly because we are, I think, afraid of reactions that we're going to get with some people. And yes, sometimes you will get strong reactions. For example, my wife was in a parking lot the other day at the hospital. She pulled into a parking space and didn't realize somebody else was waiting for that parking space. Oh my heavens, talk about the rage of hell coming down on her. She was so angry. She puts that vehicle in park, gets out of the vehicle, and goes over to her and scratches her Jesus sticker on the side of her vehicle. Scratch, you can see the fingernail marks in it. She wanted me to repair it. And I said, first of all, it's not really that bad. You can still see Jesus clearly. No problem. Secondly, that's battle scars of spiritual warfare. You all know that just recently, less than a month ago, the widow of the pastor who was shot here in St. Louis in the sanctuary during worship service spoke up and encouraged God's people to take a stand for Jesus Christ regardless of the consequences, regardless of the cost. The man walked right down the aisle almost a year and a half ago and unloaded his pistol into the pastor's face. Shot him several times. Parts of the Bible went flying. That's rare. That's rare. But as we approach an increasingly secular society, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see more of that, and Pastor Dana has brought that to our attention as well, not too long ago. Are we ready for such challenges?